Join me in painting these beautiful and delicate blue flax flowers with watercolor. The sketch needed for this painting is given here. You can download it from the link available in the description. I'm starting to paint the entire paper using ultramarine. I want the pollens of the flowers to be paper white. I accidentally painted over the pollens, so I'm lifting the pigment using a tissue. After that, I'm painting the spaces between the pollen using ultramarine. These white spaces that I left untouched aren't visible right now due to the light value of the ultramarine, but they will become visible when we add a darker value while painting the flowers. While the paper is still wet, I'm mixing ultramarine with sap green to paint around the flowers. Since the paper is still wet, the consistency of water and pigment is crucial to prevent the green hue from seeping into the flower areas. Also, watch the consistency of the pigment on my palette for reference. While painting around the flowers, I adjust the ratio of sap green and ultramarine, aiming to capture the essence of light and darkness between the leaves without delving too much into details. Initially, I used a medium value of the mix of ultramarine and sap green to paint around the flowers. Now I'm using a dark value of the mix, which helps to bring the flowers to life. While painting with this dark value, my paper is still wet. After painting around the flowers, I allowed the paper to dry completely. Once the paper is completely dry, I added more of the ultramarine and sap green mix using the wet on dry technique. I painted this green hue, which is a mix of ultramarine and sap green, only on the right side of the flowers, leaving the left side untouched to avoid messy and overworked background. Next, I'm using ultramarine to paint the petals of the first flower. I'm leaving some areas very light to show the highlights, which is created by the light source. Next, I use sap green to paint around the pollen. As I add this sap green, the pollen becomes more visible. Next, I paint the other petals of the flower using ultramarine. Look for medium and light values of ultramarine to create more depth and dimension, making the flower to appear more realistic. Use a dark value of ultramarine to paint the veins on the petals. The first flower is fully painted and it's complete. Now we are moving on to the second flower. We will paint this second flower with a mix of ultramarine and alizarin crimson. The second flower is under the first flower, so there will be a shadow on the second one. Use a dark value of the mix of ultramarine and alizarin crimson to paint the petals that are under the first flower. Just look for the light, medium and dark values in the second flower and try to recreate them in your paintings to enhance realism. Using sap green, I paint around the pollens, and with a dark value of ultramarine, I paint the veins on the petals. For the third flower, I use a mix of ultramarine and cerulean blue to paint the petals. I add only a few details for this third flower, as the first and second flowers are the main subjects of this painting. The background flowers will have no details. Once again, I'm using a dark value of ultramarine to paint the veins on the petals, and I'm using sap green to paint around the pollens. We have reached the end of this painting process. I hope you enjoyed watching me paint blue flax flowers with watercolor. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. See you in another video. Until then, take care and bye bye from Prema.